We're live.
We are live.
We're always waiting for this red light that's circling. Woo!
Yeah.
Hope you can hear me, guys. So we're here today for Music Wednesday with Barry and me and Anthony Quails. And I was just looking at your Facebook page. So you're the executive director of
the Chattanooga Songwriters Association.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that, and then let's get into hearing some of your music. It's really beautiful. It's really chill.
So the Chattanooga Songwriters Association was created by a couple guys. One of them was Tom Cavan back in, I guess, 2011. And I saw an article in the Times Free Press, and it was saying, hey, if you want to if you want to perform at one of our writers' nights, we have them all over town. I think we're running like 2 or 3 at the time, and so I just filled out an application and I started performing. I think the first one I was at the Sugar's Ribs. It used to be down off the corner.
That's where you used to have it pretty weekly, wasn't it? Or
I think it was like every Thursday evening.
Yeah.
And then so I just kind of stayed in a regular rotation and met some a lot of great songwriters that are still my friends. And in 2013, Tom was ready to retire, and he approached me and said, "Would you consider taking over?" And I said, "Sure." So that was almost 5 years ago, so I've been heading that up ever since. I've got a good board of directors, and they're really good about helping out. So we run now we just have a monthly writers' night at the Heritage House out off of Jenkins Road in East Brainerd.
Cool.
And so our biggest focus for 2018 is pushing the educational resource, because I feel like if you're a songwriter, learning to write really good songs gives you that motivation to be proud of those songs and go and play those songs. And so, there's a lot of open mics. There were really a lot of open mics in 2011, and I think there was one at the Camp House, and that's about it. Now, and then of course Tremont.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one.
I haven't been to that one in a while.
So.
Have you?
All
right, cool. Let's
Next time we'll talk some more about that.
That sounds cool, though. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, you can sing a song?
Sing
Please.
a song.
All right, we'll do Life is a Sea. I was a young lad, but still I remember as though it were yesterday the time that was spent with the one they called captain in a ship full of castaways. Well, I boarded the vessel, crimson in color, adrift on the open sea. The masthead was sturdy, the crew in a hurry, and this is the song they would sing. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, rough as the journey and current may be. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, a voyage we're on, my captain and me. We took to the ocean, life was our lesson, and sailed for the great beyond. Through every season, through every storm, I join them in singing along. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, rough as the journey and current may be. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, a voyage we're on, my captain and me. A few of the crew were lost in the autumn, swallowed up by the deep. We mourn for the fallen, the lost and forgotten, never again would they sing. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, rough as the journey and current may be. Whoa, whoa, life is a sea, a voyage we're on, my captain and me. A voyage we're on, my captain and me. Singing life is a sea, life is a sea, life is a sea, that's the life just for me. Life is a sea, life is a sea, life is a sea, that life is for me.
That's cool.
Such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
Song.
Thank you.
I was texting with one of your friends, I think, involved in the association, Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
He's been on our show before.
Shaughnessy's been in here.
Right.
He and I did an event a few months back.
I saw that on your page.
Yeah, for the Deo Clinic up in Dalton. There's a church up there. Yeah, I guess it used to be the library up there, and then they converted it to church, and it is a gorgeous venue. So it's really neat because it's almost like a theater.
Yeah.
They have like theater seating. It's really cool.
Very cool.
Tom is an old friend, and I remember when he the association, he kind of brought the idea from Nashville.
Yeah.
I think he'd been involved in one up there and wanted to come back to Chattanooga and do similar here. So I'm glad to see it was a great idea. I'm glad to see it's thriving, and that we talk almost every week when we do this. The thing that seems to have changed the most in Chattanooga on the music scene is this collaborative sort of effort, philosophy, whatever. I'm not sure.
Helping each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was there 5-10 years ago, and now it just seems like everybody realizes if one of us does well, it helps everybody.
Yeah, I've seen more collaborative shows. See a lot of people, and nobody's really well, they have to have I guess an opener. I don't know. It's kind of how it goes.
So but nobody's. To be first.
But nobody. You a lot of shows, a lot of bigger shows, you'll see a lesser known act opener, right. Or some people consider a lesser known talent or a lesser talent than the opening act. I don't think there's any lesser talent. I think it's good music, and so if you've got a bill of 2 or 3 artists together, you come and stay for the whole thing because it's great from start to finish.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
there's a lot of that, and it's healthy. I mean, that's what you guys are trying to.
Yeah.
I know in the past it seemed like a lot of folks didn't want to ask for help or be part of a group because they were afraid they were going to be told they weren't very good or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's one of the scary things, especially being about a songwriter, because songwriting is very subjective. There are skeleton ways, and there is a process to writing songs if you want to get commercial cuts. I mean, that's just, if you listen to any song. Have you seen the mashups of songs and they all use the chord progressions?
Yeah.
So you see a lot of that.
All the bro country,
but especially now. And that's not bad or good. I mean, I'm not dissing any of that. I'm not going to disregard that because it has a place. Music has a place, and those songs have a place. But I was the Camp House used to do a songwriter competition called the Songwriter Shootout, and I hosted that for about 2 years. And it's before they moved. They were in the South Side, and they moved downtown. And one of the things I learned over the years, over the couple of years I did it, was just when I thought I knew about songwriting, I didn't know about songwriting. Somebody would come in and totally just change up my whole thought process.
So I love that, though.
So toward the end, because we were getting songwriters from Nashville and Orlando. I mean, people were driving up just to play this event, and they weren't getting paid. You lose. You didn't, lose. That's so awful. If you didn't place, I'll say that. But I think they wanted to just be part of some type of community. Yeah. And that's where I really gained a lot of friends. And that's really where the Songwriter Association kind of picked up in that area. Tom really started something that was really good. And my whole hope was, when he asked me to take over, was, please don't let me screw this up. And so I'm still on the fence if I've screwed it up or not. But yeah, he entrusted me with something that was very valuable, and it wasn't just like the association. It was entrusting me with people's their talent, as far as and just being honest with them. And we don't do any type of critiquing just because I haven't had a hit song. I can't tell you what is a hit song. I can tell you these are things that I've learned from people that have been experienced for 20, 30 years that are friends of mine, what they've told me, and I just try to offer that, those resources.
Let's, if you don't mind, play something, and then let's get into kind of like what happens at a meeting if somebody who wants to come join you guys.
I'll play, this is a newer song. I have a record that I did, put out last year. It's called Before the Bright Lights, and I'm starting to write for a new record. And the last record I did was it was story-based. It's a concept record I've been writing. I didn't really know I was writing for a record until I was like, I have these songs, and they all fit together, and it was really cool. And so I put it out through a label in Sugar Hill, Georgia, called the Nehemiah Foundation for Cultural Renewal. It's renewthearts.org. And really what they do is they find artists like me, and they come in and just support them. And,
cool.
And they don't make them famous. They don't book you a ton of shows, but they do give you a lot of resources. So,
Gotcha.
But I wrote this song, and this song is one I started writing last year, and I put it down for a year because I just couldn't finish it. I don't think I'd lived the story yet in order to tell it. So in, I say April this year, I picked it up, and it's called "I Wish That I Was Him." There's a girl I call my daughter that doesn't carry my last name. The man she calls her father lives 20 miles away. And every other week or so, he comes knocking at my door. And she climbs into his pickup truck, and they take off down the road. And he calls her every evening just before she goes to bed to tell her that he loves her in case she may forget. And I hear her laugh from down the hall before they say goodnight. And I try but can't imagine what that kind of love feels like. I wish that I was him, 'cause he gets every moment that I'll miss. But could it be when he thinks of me, the same words cross his lips? I wish that I was him. Now there may come a day, not far away, when she starts a brand new life. And in a little church, I can picture her, dressed from head to toe in white. With our friends and family gathered there, I'm sure the tears will fill my eyes. 'Cause I know just who she's gonna choose to walk her down the aisle. I wish that I was him, 'cause he gets every moment that I'll miss. But could it be when he thinks of me, the same words cross his lips? I wish that I was him. She may be his flesh and blood and the apple of his eye, but I hope and pray she'll know someday that I've loved her like she's mine. Still, I wish that I was him, 'cause he gets every moment that I'll miss. But could it be when he thinks of me, the same words cross his lips? I wish that I was him. I wish that I was him.
Very honest.
Thank you.
Very
I wasn't ready to
honest.
be that emotional.
No.
Sorry.
That's really good.
Be nice to our kids, right?
That was a hard song to write.
I'm
I
sure.
sent when I first started writing that song, I sent I always kind of recorded on my phone or whatever, and I sent it to my friend in Nashville. He used to write with Reba McEntire, and he was really, really kind, and he's really, really honest, and he usually doesn't ever. He usually takes me back, and he's actually a Chattanooga native. He went to Baylor.
What's his name?
It's Tom Payton.
Tom Payton?
Yeah, he's been in Franklin. He's
Cool.
been in publishing for 27
Hey,
years.
Tom.
So anyway, he called me, and I missed his calls at work, and he just left me a message. He says, "You got a song," and so I called him, and we were talking about it, and he goes, "You got a great song, and I really think somebody may cut that song." He says, don't screw it up.
Yeah.
And so I put it down for a year because I was like, when somebody tells you that, you kind of get you petrified. And I finally sat down and I said, I got to finish this song. So,
I was going to ask about that. It seemed like it would be one of those where you know right away you've got a good idea.
Yeah.
And don't screw it up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But I think it's kind of like a two-edged sword. It's like you've got something that can that you hope will eventually, you don't want to say I've got a great song because that's not my job to determine that. I love the song because it's deeply personal to me. It's a very personal song.
Yeah. I would hope so. What if you're like, oh, I just made it up?
I just wrote that song. I was watching, daily soaps.
It reminds me of that song a little bit, The Dance by Garth Brooks.
Oh, yeah. I love
It's
that.
a little of that, and it
A little
reminds
bit.
me a little of He Didn't Have to. I think it's
Oh,
called
the Paisley
Kelly
song? Yeah.
Loveless. And I actually talked to Kelly right after that came out, and he was over visiting.
And that's not even Brad. I don't think it's Brad's story, is it?
Kind of, it's more Kelly's.
Is it? Okay.
But they were on Brad's front porch.
Brad sang
when
it and
they
performed it
wrote
like it was his own, which
Yeah.
is the mark of a good artist.
Yeah.
When you can
Yeah.
take a song
Like
that's
an
not yours
actor.
and you're not, it's
Yeah.
not wholly yours, and
Yeah.
What was it back in April? Not to get too personal.
No,
into your
it's
life,
okay.
But what was it that had changed? What made you? You said you weren't.
So when
you
I
haven't lived it enough. What suddenly maybe changed?
So I had the first verse and I had most of the chorus. I was missing that second line. I had the turn in the chorus. The turn was, instead of me saying I wish I was him, the roles are reversed, and he's looking at me saying, I wish I had your life.
Yeah.
You see her every day, and I'm thinking of all. So perspective is very.
Graph's
Perspective can be
always
very
there.
skewed, and if you look at any situation, arguments, things like that, you're only looking at it from your perspective. And if you were to step out of your shoes and step back as someone who's just not involved at all, it can go either way. And I'm not saying that's the case, and that's just,
Yeah. just a
But
different way to
no,
look at
back
it.
in so I would pick it up, and I'm a lot of songwriters, and I'm the worst at this, and I'll tell people this. A lot of songwriters, when you do workshops, and they'll say, you need to take a time every day and write 2 hours, set time apart. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm very lazy, and so I'll have ideas. I've got a thing on my phone that I keep ideas for songs, and I'll keep an idea there. But I tell people I'll have my guitar on the stand and I'm watching TV. I'd rather lay on my couch and eat a box of donuts than sit up and work on a song.
Well, at least you're self-aware.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm very aware of my weakness. And one of my favorite songwriters who lives in Nashville, his name's Andy Gullahorn. He's one of my favorite songwriters. This guy, he takes everyday things and he really, he drops a lot of truth in stuff. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. So back in April, I had the third verse was I had several different things. I was teaching her how to drive, and I was doing a lot of different things that dads do, except for I wasn't Dad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Anthony, but I've been there since diapers. I've been there
Wow.
I've been there since 2 and 3. So my wife and I've been married. We just celebrated our 14-year anniversary, and so I've been there to watch them grow up, and so I'm teaching her how to drive. And so I had that, and I had, the thing of future, and I really had to have an honest conversation with myself and say, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? What is the one? So then I start thinking commercial-wise, what's the most relatable thing? It was the wedding, because that's what most little girls think about is their wedding day, and dressed in white in a church, and that's that typical kind of cookie cutter
Not
thing.
me. But of course I was the first one to get married of all my friends.
Yeah.
The one who doesn't think about it. Yeah.
So I'll say your cookie cutter female. I'll say that, at least in my household, is what I'm going to wear for my wedding and things like that. And so that was the idea. But I had that last line. It was, so he's going to be crying because she's walking out. No, he's crying because he knows he's going to miss that. He's going to miss another thing. She's going to be walking down the aisle with him.
Gotcha.
And he's got to stand there and watch that. And so for me it was, how real can I make this? Because blended families are huge. I mean, statistics show that.
Everywhere, yeah.
And so
Well, I mean, the kids are lucky to have so much love, though, if they're people like you,
I'm not perfect, trust me, ask them. But no, I think about things like that, and for me it was something that was deeply personal, and I don't write a lot of those. I have such a hard time being honest in songwriting. It's easy for me to write a story from a third person perspective because I'm not involved. And I used to tell people, if you really want to write great songs, get out of the way and get out of the story. If you really just remove yourself from the story and write it from that perspective, and that works for me. And so with this,
the other side is only write about what you know, what I know.
For me,
interesting.
I don't have a hard time writing story songs. I have a hard time writing love songs. I think there's so many that are out there, and so because everybody's writing about heartbreak and things like that, it's hard to find a new cliche. If that makes sense. It's hard to find a new idea for a song, and so that one for me was kind of like just dropped in my lap. I just had to work for it, and
really
it took me a year.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And I've played it out a few times, and so we'll see. It's interesting.
Well, let's do another one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Do I need a disclaimer? Is it gonna make me
I don't think
cry
so.
again?
I don't
know.
know.
I was really like
At this point, I've hit
together.
that. I've hit that. I've hit
Get
that
it
well.
together.
When you're digging for a well and you've tapped it. I've already tapped that, so it probably may not take much. So. Now, I wrote this song. Have you guys ever heard of Drake Lanier? Him and his wife Lucy Jane. They go by Drakeford. They just
Drakeford.
Drakeford.
Sure.
They're actually. She's from London. He's from Florence, South Carolina. They met doing mission work overseas. Well, he's one of my favorite songwriters, and he actually just happens to be in town. So he and I got together with another songwriter, Cody Harris. We got together last year.
Trying to have him come in and play for us, too. So.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So Drakeford and I set up a writing appointment with him, and I said, I have this idea for this song. And I had some really tough stuff happen this year. And I always have a hard time, and I don't know if you guys go through this or not, when you go to the funeral home or something, and you want to say something, but you don't know what to say. And for me, I just end up rambling, and it's bad. And I know it. While I'm doing it, I know this is bad, this is not good, you need to just
stop digging.
Just leave.
Yeah.
Just leave, or just don't go. And so
you should always go. People appreciate it.
So I had this idea. It's okay to have nothing to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is. And so I met with him, and I already had some of the song written, and I said I'd like your help on this. And so we spent about 4 or 5 hours together. And I'm really proud of this song. So, and this will be on the next record too. That first song I did is actually on the record that I just released before the Bright Lights. So this is It's Okay to Have Nothing to Say. Do you tend to talk when there's nothing to say? Has it proven a difficult habit to break? And you know that confession is just empty words when half of the lesson is yet to be learned. They say actions speak louder than words ever will. If that's true, then it goes without saying. In a world full of sound, is there a place to be found where it's okay to have nothing to say? Is it possible that we're just all insecure, or the sound of the silence is hard to endure, and you say to yourself time and again, the silence is golden, but hope it still ends. They say actions speak louder than words ever will. If that's true, would you mind please explaining? In a world full of sound, is there a place to be found where it's okay to have nothing to say? Do you pour out your heartache, praying to God, and unload the questions and problems you got, and hope that He's listening? But what if He's not? afraid that the ceiling is just where it stops. They say actions speak louder than words ever will. If that's true, what am I truly saying? In a world full of sound, is there a place to be found where it's okay to have nothing to say? It's okay to have nothing to say. It's okay to have nothing.
That's a good lesson.
It's also very true. I've always told people I'm really big on effort versus so showing up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I had some,
giving people a hug.
Yeah, this year I had a friend of mine that passed away that he and I had met through the Chattanooga Songwriters Association. His name was Charlie Yates. He passed away earlier
Went to
this
school
year.
with Charlie.
And then I have had a few other people pass away this year, and it was really tough
Sad.
because it's like Facebook was like at one point was just this obituary, it's just constant things,
Sad.
and I, like I said, I have a hard time because what do you say? And I have found, and this is, I try to make this a rule of thumb, is when I see you, I'm sorry, and that's all I can say, and sometimes that's okay, that's enough. And that was a real tough. Charlie was a real tough one for me this year, and so anyway, that was I won't dwell there, but yeah. So that was kind of an idea of like, it's okay not to. You can just be there, and it's okay.
Yeah, just be there.
What are some of the details of the association for somebody who's out there listening that maybe wants to join? There's no
there's not
limit, is there? I mean, what are
there's not a membership, and the reason why is because we're completely nonprofit. I mean, we're not a 501c3 or anything like that, but we don't. I don't get pay. I don't get paid for it. Our board of directors, they don't take a pay. The city is really good to us through the Parks and Recreation program. They actually help us. They put on the event free. One of the big things, I think one of the myths is that the only thing, our main thing is the writers' night, and it's not. That's just a part of what we do. It's to showcase the songwriters in the city, and our board of directors, I have 5 of them, 6 including me, and so we'll host. Each of us hosts twice a month, and they book their own round. I have songwriters that send in, requests through the website, and we take those requests and we hold on to those. And if I have someone that needs to book a round, if I'm looking for somebody, I will go back and I'll say, does it fit the round for the evening? Because you want to, when you have a writer's night like that, you want kind of a lot of the same vein. Not necessarily they do the same genre, but you don't want somebody that does thrash metal and then somebody does play the harp and things like that.
Involved.
Well, how many likes do we have on the Facebook
No,
page?
how many people come to these nights?
It just depends.
It just depends.
I think it depends on Facebook advertisement and things like that. We have a Facebook page. It's the Chattanooga Songwriters Association, and you can go out there and like the page, and we post those. Our last one for 2017, actually, I'm hosting in December. It's on the 12th.
Okay.
And so I got some really neat songwriters in. One lady, she's from Sparta, and she's been around for a while.
When you say hosting, is it? It's
It's
all
a
at
right-
the Heritage House.
Yeah,
right?
it's at the Heritage House. So
So
basically,
you curate it.
I
host
moderate.
Okay.
I think that's probably the best thing.
Okay.
And I sing, and it's about 2 hours worth. It's like a house
Sounds
concert.
fun.
If you want to go to a house concert, if you like intimate songs and you get to hear the stories behind the songs, that's the best place to go. And
Nice.
they always offer nice light refreshments and things like that.
Is it networking? I mean, if I'm new to town and I'm
Yes, if you're new to town and you're a songwriter, you need to make it out to the writers' nights.
Yeah.
That's
What
how
if
you
you're
get
not
to
a
know.
songwriter and you're like Barry and Leslie?
If you're not a songwriter, then come and just enjoy
be in
Maybe
Okay.
we
good
could
songs.
start writing songs, Barry.
Yeah, that's interesting. Heritage House does that, and they host similar type things.
Yeah, they have
for
a film-
filmmakers.
yeah.
everyone
Very
involved
cool.
with from
Love it.
lighting to whatever. They
Yeah.
have. So
And
that's
hopefully,
neat.
the push for next year is some songwriters workshops. That's what we're really looking for. Like I said, 2018, we looked at what we were doing this year and in the past years, and what can we do to make sure that we're sustainable and going forward. And for me, the biggest was resources, being a resource conduit for the area.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at, the details. You host those, but are there like weekly meetings? Are there songwriting meetings?
We don't have any weekly meetings. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. We just have a very small staff, and so I'm hoping that in the future we'll get some type of community-based things going where people want to have those community meetings, in their local community, whether it be Chattanooga or North Georgia or North Alabama or places like Cleveland, Tennessee. We'd like to see that, but we don't have a big enough staff to do that, and I can't ask them to do double duty and things like that. So.
Okay. Facebook, obviously, we've talked about. How can people get in touch with you, see you, listen to you?
Well, if you want to see me, you can book a house show. It's pretty reasonable. You just email me through my website. It's anthonyquails.com, and you can just send me a message through the website. I'll come to your house and do a house show, and hopefully not make you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had said before we went on that you've been coming here fairly regularly here
Yeah.
in the studio working with.
I did
You're at the Public
I did a
Library.
SoFar show, SoFar house show back in, I guess it was the first of this year, and I met Kessler through that. He was running sound, and we kind of stayed in connect. I got his number, and we kind of stayed just connected. And he was telling me at the time that the studio was going to open. I had heard about it, but I really hadn't heard about it. And so when he had posted something on Facebook about, we do the Songwriter series on Saturday mornings, and that was huge for me. I really wanted to kind of see how that went, and so I did one, and then he asked me to come back again. So he's been kind enough to ask me back a couple
Now this
times.
is what happens at these. You come and there's a.
Basically, I'm the guinea pig. I'm the artist, and they bring in students, and he shows them how to run the equipment here.
Cool.
That's very
Shows
cool.
them how to set everything up. They're fantastic. They're super courteous, and I come in and let them do their work, do their best. That's worse. That's not bad. I let them do their thing, and they
learn. Yeah.
really learn, and that's a
Always
lot of fun.
learning.
And there's no expectation when I come in here other than just having a good time, and the students are fantastic.
They're great.
cool.
We
And
love
Elizabeth
them.
at the soundboard, she's the
Love
queen.
Elizabeth.
She's
The
great.
boss.
She's the boss.
Yes, she is.
All right.
Well, this has been so beautiful. A little bit of it sounds like in your guitar work, like James Taylor. Or like,
Oh, I love James Taylor. I love
Yeah.
John Denver. John Denver.
I love John Denver too.
Yes.
What's your favorite John Denver song?
This Old Guitar. You heard it?
It's good.
If I had prepared, I would have played it for
Ah.
you. Because it's neat. That story behind that song is his grandmother gave him a guitar,
Yeah.
and it somehow got lost or something. And he found the guitar years later, and he got back to the hotel room. He said, "I couldn't wait to get back to the hotel room to tell the guitar all the things that had happened while he was gone." And I was like, "Man, that's really cool."
Yeah. All right, you never know where a song's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to play? Play us on out?
You may play you one out?
Yes, sir.
I'll
please.
do one off of. It's called Acres of Faith, and I wrote this. The title came when I was driving into work. I drove through the Chattanooga Valley area, and there was a low fog on the ground. And
Pretty.
used to be, that's all agricultural through there. There's still some cattle out there.
Pretty.
And I thought, what would it have been like before all these gas station was here on the corner and things like that. And so I started thinking, of course, like Little House on the Prairie. That's my mind goes to that when the kids were little. We watched the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, and then we graduated to the Wonder Years, because that's where the natural progression is. My father-in-law still says that's his life is the Wonder Years. He goes,
Yeah.
my
He's
brother.
the dad.
My father-in-law says
Jeez.
that's my life. I know it. He goes, I had a brother just like that. That's my dad.
Okay.
So.
Pretty
Yeah.
much partially mine.
It's
Yeah.
a great show.
And
That's
the
sweet.
Wendy. Yeah, we all had a
All
Wendy.
right, so we'll sing this. It's called Acres of Faith. I hope you guys enjoy it.
No, I'm not Winnie. I'm the blonde girl.
Small town Nebraska, where the corn and cotton grow. When your brother was your neighbor, about 3 miles down the road. Hadn't seen a decent rain in at least a couple years. When you visit that city, there's a story that you'll hear. The crops had withered up back in 1948, when the farmers gathered at the church, praying for rain. Most were in their overalls and those dusty, worn-out boots. But one old man came dressed in a yellow rubber suit. You gotta have hope for the harvest, acres of faith when you go to the Father and ask in Jesus' name. Expect that He'll deliver when you bow your head to pray. Yes, He is faithful to answer when you got acres of faith. Well, 30 minutes in, and the pew began to shake with the sound of that old man as he began to pray. And he shouted out, "Amen," and stumbled to his feet, put on his rubber hat, and stepped out into the street. You gotta have hope for the harvest, acres of faith when you go to the Father and ask in Jesus' name. Expect that He'll deliver when you bow your head to pray. Yes, He is faithful to answer when you got acres of faith. First came the thunder, then came the rain, filling the rivers and flooding the banks. But to this day, none have a clue. Where went that old man in that yellow rubber suit? You gotta have hope for the harvest, acres of faith when you go to the Father and ask in Jesus' name. Expect that He'll deliver when you bow your head to pray. Yes, He is faithful to answer when you got acres of faith. You know, I like to think about that old man and that goofy rubber hat. You know, he gets up. And I wonder what the other old men thought about. You know, they've got some guy that just comes out of nowhere.
Who knows?
He's wearing, he was like a big bird, you know, he's wearing a big yellow rubber suit. And he flings open the doors of the church. Just kind of disappears into the dark.
Simple.
And I wonder what they thought when they heard the tap, tap, tap on that tin roof of the church. And I wonder if the most ragtag choir of old men in overalls, I wonder if they one by one began to sing. Come on, rain, come on, rain, come on, rain. We got acres of faith. Come on, rain, come on, rain, come on, rain. We got acres of faith. Come on, rain, come on, rain, come on, rain. We got acres of faith. Come on, rain, come on, rain, come on, rain.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
Beautiful Music Wednesday.
Next week, we will not have a show next Wednesday
Oh.
because we are recording a holiday show that'll appear on the 13th.
And that
Lots of surprises. So
Yes, I'm getting excited. I love surprises.
Lots of
Yeah.
surprises. So thanks again.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm sure we learned a lot, as you did, about Chattanooga Songwriters Association. Right?
Yes.
Cool. All right. Bye, you guys. Have
Thank
a good
you, guys.
Wednesday. Happy Hump Day.